So welcome back to another video today everybody, back to the Midlands Outdoors channel. So we've come to Haden Park, which is situated just at the back by Oldhill and the side of Cradley Heath. It is a really nice place because it does have much history over it, with the old house which is situated right at the back. Even got wildlife, so you can hear some of the birds singing, and very quiet as well. There is quite a lot of wildlife over here today. I've heard woodpeckers, quite a lot, and the history of the house is amazing. But today I'm just hoping that I can go around and go and take a look into there, because there is some amazing stuff, see what the architecture is like into there, and I will tell you a little bit of history about the house as well a bit later on. But just looking over there, look at the views of the park itself with the big open land that's onto there. Beautiful afternoon with the sun beaming down for a change. But yeah, let's go and make our way to the house. Apparently it said it's open, so let's go and see if we can actually go inside it. So yeah, just walking up now, we are coming to the big house itself, which is right the way there. It is open, so we'll go and take a look. Make our way inside. Absolutely beautiful. Look at the architecture, and when you go inside, look at the stained glass window by the entrance to the door going in. Look how old the door is as well where you go in. And I do know there would have been a doorbell onto there, like your very old buildings, which you can see. Look, it would have been would you think that would have been an old-fashioned doorbell? Yeah, I think it would, because there is one there, but it would have been something like that, a big doorbell placed onto the side. Let's go and have a look inside. I bet it's really lovely in here. So yeah, apparently this is the library. Wow, look how old some of this is into here. And it does sound there, it says the library was Mr. Haden's best favourite room in the house, where he would sit and read or pursue his love of nature and botany. Mr. Haden Best would often be found sat next to the fireplace reading one of the books from his extensive collection, which you can just see there would have been a load of books situated by the side of it in his cabinets. Wow. It's quite cool seeing what some of the old stuff would have looked like into here. And it says onto there as well, it says furnishing Haden house. The red armchair, her settee and 4 chairs once belonged to Mr. Haden Best. Were auctioned after his death in 1921, look. They were bought at the auction by a local family and then later purchased by the friends of Haden estate, who returned them to the house. Look at that. One more pan around just to show you. Yeah, this is actually another room which you can see. This one's called the morning room. It's got to there, bit of information. Emmy and Alice. Mr. Haden Best never married, but he did informally adopt 2 local girls, Alice Cockin and Bertha Emma Bryant, around 1886. When the girls were about 16 years old, the girls' family lived close by in Oldhill with Alice's family running a photograph studio, and Emmy's family having their own small business. It's got a lot of information onto there, but look at the room there. I do know that is actually an old photo of the people as well, just onto there, look. So there is some more like other little rooms. Look at this one. Coming through. So looking onto it, I mean, there is some like stuff. I know the room would have probably been laid out back in the past, but looking onto it, it says they're working at Haden House. So Victorian servants were expected to be obedient and loyal, well presented, clean and always tidy. Servants worked extremely long hours, starting work around 5:30 AM and not finishing until around 11 o'clock at night. They normally had half a day or sometimes even a full day off each month. Cleaning was very hard work indeed. Open fires had to be swept out and relaid. All furniture had to be moved, and maids had to clean every nook and cranny. A quick dust around would not have been acceptable. From the census of 1881, we know the names of the servants employed by Mr. Haden Best and their roles within the house. Anne Payne, aged 25, was a housekeeper. Hannah Bird, aged 19, chambermaid, become later the cook. Eliza Bloomer, aged 22, was a cook as well. And Charles Cope, aged 28, coachman, butler and valet, or personal servant to Mr. Haden Best. Just looking around there, look at that.
Servant bell.
Oh wow, look at the old servant bell up there, look at that. Oh wow. Oh, it's going upstairs, I think. To these stairs up to here. I mean, look at the stairs going up. I mean, the big tall windows that I'm up there. Look at those. A bedroom for servants. It says there, we believe that both this area of the house and the attic were at different times used as servants' bedrooms. However, some servants did not live at the house but resided close by. When Haden House was first restored in the 1980s, it was used as offices and a conference centre. During that time, this area of the house became the caretaker's accommodation, and since the house became a museum, these rooms have been used as offices and storage. So let's have a quick look down though. I mean, there is some stuff down there as well that I'm on the sides, look. A bit of an hallway going down. Let's have a look down to here. So this is actually another room which you can see, which is actually one of the bedrooms. So it does sound to me, it says, as regards the servant's bed, have an iron bedstead with crossbands and lathes of iron, bolster and 2 mattress, both of wool and expensive. Allow a feather pillow and 3 blankets, including the coloured one. So let's have a look at the some of the stuff into it. It looks like there's an old Singer sewing machine, look at that. And I've seen quite a few of these in some very old buildings that I've been to. But you can just see, look at how some of the beds would have been into here. Look at all this. How old the beds would have been, look. And looking at that one there as well, onto the corner. And some of the clothes, what they would have worn, look. Look at all these. A photo onto there. Wow. Absolutely amazing architecture. Look at the roof up to there, all that stained glass up to the very top, look. Wow. So this is actually one of the children's rooms. If I go in, you will just see. Look at this. So I bet back in the days when this house was used, the children would have played within this room. Which you can just see, look at this. Let's have a quick look at what's out the window. You can see the back of that area there, look, looking down onto the park. Showing the sun's like beaming a bit like that. Nice views though. You can just see the very top of the house, where the loft will be just up to there. So this is another big room as well. So it says there, the drawing room. The drawing room or withdrawing room was where the family and their guests would withdraw to after dinner, and had been taken in the oak room below. It was a very normal living room and used for entertaining, and in rich homes would have almost always been on the first floor of the house. Some of the best and most expensive furniture would have been found in the drawing room, which you can see, look, one of the old pianos that I'm just onto there. I think that is a piano, isn't it? It's in the back. It's looking down to it. I mean, there is like loads of like old plates and stuff which you can see. Do you know if that was actually, is that a piano?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very old piano, isn't it? And looking down, you see, look at the photos that I'm onto here. I'm guessing that these are possibly some photos that like for people in the Haden Hill house, look, that used to live or work within the grounds, look. Look at those. Absolutely interesting to see some of this old stuff though, because it just gives you a gist of what this place was literally all about though on this. Wow. So yeah, this is another bedroom, and it says there in the latter part of the 19th century, bedrooms in rich homes like Haden Hill House would have been well furnished. Private spaces, larger heavy brass or copper containers, were used by servants to carry hot water from the kitchen to allow the family to wash before breakfast. By the end of the Victorian period, many wealthy homes had bathrooms like the ones we have today. So you can just see another view of this room into here. Look at this. And what one of the beds into here, look at that. Give you a pan around so you can just have a bit of a view of the room, look. Yeah, look at the hallway, look at this. Nice clock onto there, look at that. Oh, it's warm into here. But looking down though, we've even got some different things up to the back here as well, within the cupboards. Some of the things what they would have worn as well, look. The clothes there, old Victorian style clothing. Looking down, the hats on display are 1920s clutch hats. It says the black shoes and pink shoes date from the 1920s. The wedding shoes in the centre are from the 19th century, which is there. Perhaps these are something borrowed for the 1920s bride, so you can just see some of the old stuff into there. Look at that one there, look at that. And some of the black shoes which are there. I mean, some of the clothes what they're worn is just wow. There is a bit of information here about World War One. So it says around the time of World War One, the hemlines of women's dresses started to rise and skirts at calf length became fashionable. The black dress on the left dates from this time, which is that one there. After World War One, hemlines continued to rise, and the wedding dress that belonged to a West Bromwich bride dates from about 1920s, which is probably that one there. And the 1920s was a time of prosperity and decadence for some, and flappers. And those following high fashion wore dresses with hemlines just below the knee. However, most women were still wearing modest dresses a little longer, such as the candy striped day dress on the right, which is that one just right there, look. And you can just see the different shoes, look, which they're worn. I will give you a bit more of a better view of one of the ones that I've just explained, look, onto there. I mean, back in the past though, I do know some people, like the old Victorian times, they wore black dresses as well. And you'll see, look at the, look how old that is on top. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say though, that is really interesting just to see the inside of the house. I mean, the history that dates back onto this place, you know, it's just nice to look over it for a local place as well. But looking by the side, I mean, we've even got some like little photographs which I can show you. We've got one there, Mr. Haden Best walks into the frame on the right, so you can just see Mr. Haden Best onto that one there, look. Quite interesting seeing some of these old photos. There is some more there, look at that. And that one there. I mean, there is quite a lot of these old photos just on the side just to show you. So it says there, we believe this is Mr. Haden Best's gardening in the herbaceous border, which you can just see there, Mr. Haden Best there doing his gardening. This is actually the top pool in the snow, which you can just see, a very old photo there when it was actually snowing. It looks like these are potentially like late 1800s maybe. Looking at this one there as well, these are actually the pools which are at the bottom, which I'll show you the pool a bit later, and that one's actually the pool at the bottom, look. But looking round, let's have a look at the side of the building. We've even got this bit here. Now I have been into this section of this place because it is really nice into there, and they have done it up a little bit, but I know the history into this one as well dates back quite a bit. So 1921 to 2021, 100 years since Mr. Haden Best. George Alfred Haden Best was born in 1839 at Corngreaves Hall. Corngreaves Hall is at the back by the Corngreaves area, where you walk up by the front, where the River Stour is on the bottom. You will see it's the big massive mansion with the big gates at the top. In these houses now, I believe they have done it up. It was abandoned at one point, which stands at the far end of Haden Park. His parents soon died, and he grew up with his sister at Haden Hall in the care of his aunt Anne Elizabeth, I think is it Eliza Haden, and her half brother uncle Frederick Bars. In 1877, George Alfred inherited the considerable Haden and Bars wealth and property. He soon set out about building himself a brand new house next to the old hall, where Uncle Frederick's wife Mary still resided. It seems that Mr. Haden Best was well thought of in the local area, and he opened his grounds for events, galas and sporting activities, fetes and exhibitions. It appears he kept himself to himself and was quite a quiet man with strong opinions. George Alfred never married, but he did inform or adopt 2 local girls, and I did show you the photo of those inside the museum of those 2 local girls, Alice Cockin and Bertha Emma Bryant, Emmy. When the girls were around 16 years old, it seems they were affectionate new family, and Emmy called Mr. Best Dad. Mr. Haden Best died in October 1921, and the houses and park were sold at auction. So you can just see there, this is actually taken in 1890s and the 1900s, and you can see how dilapidated this end of the old door looks. So you can just see it looks a bit abandoned over there. You can just see the way it actually used to look in the old days of this building, what we're looking at now. And you can just see some old people there. Look onto the bottom. Looking at this one though, we've got the view from the old door in the early 1900s. Look, another photo there from the side of a dilapidated building which is here. I do know that this place was actually boarded up once. It was in a derelict state before the council actually restored this and made it into a very good condition. But just looking into there though, you can just see there is this staircase into there. You can actually have tours of the cellar which is underneath it. But let's go and take a look around the other side though, which is just round the corner. But look at the views of the side of the house though from here. Look at that. So yeah, I believe this is actually the stables for the Haden Hill as well. This is the stable part to it. Now looking around the back, you can just see the architecture of the 2 buildings which is here, and you've got that one there and this one is. I will tell you a bit of information actually. I will see if I can find some online for you and tell you a bit about it. So yeah, this is actually the back of the building, which you can see there is some like old spiral stairs going right the way up. Look at this. Now there is a cellar down there. Now you've got 2 cellars to Haden Hill. I've actually found one cellar which is not open to the public, or many people have not seen this cellar. There's a possibility that the tunnels that used to run under Haden Hill are under this one, which they are probably, you go in the museum and ask them but they won't tell you. But there is an old cellar here, which I think the tunnels are in this one, because there is quite a lot of old stuff down there. You can smell the moist coming up, and it's crazy why they don't do this, so you can actually have a look down this cellar down here, but it actually pans out around all the whole of the house. There is like air vents down the back as well on the other side of the building for this, but it's crazy just to see it though. So I thought there was definitely something there to do with the cellar on this part of the building. So I've got a bit of information about Haden Hill Park here. It says Haden Hill Park is situated at Haden Hill between Hell's Owen and Oldhill in the West Midlands. on the southern edge of the Black Country. Within the grounds are the 16th and 17th century Haden, also known as Haden Hall, the Victorian Haden House and the Corngreaves Nature Reserve. The estate, of which the park was a central part, was built upon by the Haden family over many hundreds of years before passing to the Bars family by marriage in 1876. In 1877 it passed to George Alfred Haden Best in 1839 to 1921, who built the Haden House and developed the parkland which forms the core of the park today. On his death in 1921, it was the Bassano brothers who offered it for sale when it was bought by the Rowley Regis Borough Council, later to become Sandwell Metropolitan Borough Council. Following the public subscription in 1922, it then became a public facility and was the subject of a major restoration programme over the period of 2000 to 2007, largely funded by the National Lottery. So it says here, looking down, the park has been given a Green Flag Award every year since 2004, and there's also been a Green Heritage Site winner. In addition, the park won the Black Country Hotel and Tourism Awards, Small Visitor Attraction category in 2008. So there is quite a lot of other information which you can find it online. There's bits about the Corngreaves Hall. So it says George Alfred Haden Best was born at the nearby Corngreaves Hall in 1839. This was a grand property dating from the late 18th century and owned by the New British Iron Company, who used it to house the managers of their nearby factory. One who was born, Haden Best's father, Benjamin Best. He had married I think it's Emmeline Bars, who both died relatively young, many years before the Haden Best came into his inheritance. Haden Best soon settled on a scheme of transforming from the estate surrounding Haden Hall from being a farm to becoming a house in the imitation of a grand style. A small cottage next to the Haden Hall where Haden Best and being living was demolished apparently, and a large Victoria house was built in its place. The new building, including modern conveniences such as underfloor heating, piped water, a bathroom, flush toilets and a gas supply. The hall was retained and it was the home of Mary Bars, second wife of Frederick Bars, eldest son of the Reverend George Bars, 1802 to 1875. It is probable that Mary Bars confined herself to part of the hall, where remained was left semi-derelict, almost certainly with the intention of demolishing the entire structure on her death and extending the new house. In the event, she lived to 1904 and this never happened. I mean, there is quite a lot of interesting information online. If you just look it up and type in Haden House or, you know, Haden Museum, it will give you some in-depths of the park as well. There's quite a lot of history. I mean, it's a mystery to it whether there is any tunnels underneath this as well. Mystical tunnels that used to run all the way to Halzone Abbey, where she would have escaped. And it was a story as well that she had an affair and she was running off down those tunnels. But there's quite a lot of stories that have been told, and it is quite interesting as well, of this very old house situated in Haden.
Is you interested in this house?
Oh no, but yeah, quite interesting just to see this place. So what we're going to do now is go and make our way down to the big park down the bottom, and we'll go and have a look at the pools which are situated down there, which are quite interesting. There is quite a lot of nature over here. I've spotted quite a lot of wildlife. I mean, I've heard the woodpeckers going down the bottom as well on one of the trees. You can just spot so much on a very sunny day, so it is definitely worth to come and take a look at if you're in it for the wildlife as well. But let's go and take a look and go and see what the rest of the park is all about. I mean, there was some other features into here. It says there was a swimming pool. An unheated open air swimming pool was opened in 1922. In the land to the immediate west of the stables block was closed in 1966, and no trace remains of this. But it is interesting because I have heard of swimming pools being over here during that date in 1922. There was other features as well: ornamental pools, football fields, a par 3 golf course in 1977. Looking up, there is some other things. So looking there is pet graves over here. By the side of the pathway below the Haden house, there are 2 monuments where the family pets are also buried. You've got the pools, which I'll show in a little bit. Haden cross. In the front of the Haden Hall is the remnant of a medieval cross which once stood at the top of what is Station Road, on the road between Dudley and Halesowen. It was moved to the park in 1937. Looking up, you've even got Haden Hall history just here as well. So Haden Hall is almost semi-detached to the Victorian house. It is sometimes called Tudor Hall, but is neither Tudor nor actually a hall. The name hall suggests that a medieval origin, as the medieval manor houses were called halls, even if the buildings were rebuilt later and simply retained the name. However, it is known that Haden Hall, or any other earlier building on the site, was not a manor house or home of a lord of the manor. The hall was probably the original, built around the 1600s as the home of a moderately wealthy Haden family in the late 1600s. They began to call themselves gentlemen as the family wealth and status grew. Architecture evidence suggests that the hall was later split into two dwellings by the time Mr. Haden Best inherited in the 1870s. He wished to build a new house to live in, and the hall was then occupied by his ageing aunt and later by his adopted daughter and a family. So there is a bit of information there for you on the Haden Old Door, which is at the side as well. But let's go make our way to the pool, which is at the bottom, which is actually quite interesting. Yeah.
When I was younger, where we stood here, down the bank here, used to be a ski slope for the Haden Hill swimming baths. And I always remember walking up to it.
All right.
I walked up the ski slope when I was younger, yeah.
Did you? So
and it led you into this park.
All right, so just literally just right the way down there. So yeah, just coming down, we am actually coming to buy some gardens now, so you can just see. I think there actually used to be greenhouses on here. Do you remember?
I don't remember greenhouses.
I'm sure there used to be greenhouses onto here. I do know this was the actual gardens, and I know they had big open fields as well on the land. But I'm sure there was greenhouses. I mean, whatever this was like back in the old days, if you'd like to comment as well what it was actually like, I would be interested just to know about it. But you can just see it. I mean, some time of the year though, it's beautiful just to see the flowers that I'm in here, because I do put different kinds of plants with onto the gardens. I mean, there is some nice plants on here at the end of the summer that do come up and flower. But looking down there, I mean, look how open the land is onto Haden Hill. I mean, you had big open farmland, and there is a sign down here telling you about a bit of information, and I will quickly just show you that on it. It is quite interesting as well, just to see and read that bit down there. So here we are. I mean, I have actually just heard parrots up there. There was like a, so it's one of them green parrots what you get up the Lisos. I've just heard one within the trees just up to there. Now looking at the sign, it does tell you a bit of information about the open land which is actually here. And it is interesting to read. So it says the grass bowl and other large grass areas were regularly cut for the hay when the park was the estate of Mr. Haden Best. A local farming family, the Chambers, farmed the estate in return for enough hay to keep Mr. Best's horses for the following year. Many hands were needed to mow, rake and stack the hay, and the young ladies of the house, Emily Bryant and Alice Cockin, may at times have been called upon to help. Flower-filled hay meadows were a feature of the time, so I can just imagine that this was actually one big field which I mentioned earlier, big open land which is onto there. Look, there is a photo there overlooking that section just there as well with the bridge. I do know the bridge is really old as well. I think they've redesigned it as well, just onto the corner down there. Just looking at where I was, to bring back the look and feel to parts of the park, to encourage wildlife, wildflowers were planted during the restoration. Reduced mowing regime on the margins of the grassland areas should allow wildflowers to grow and seed. Quite interesting seeing some of the old photos which are there as well. Look at that, and as well that one there, which is quite interesting. So yeah, absolutely wonderful to see the wildlife watching. You've seen robins, and there's a robin that's actually following us, and it's coming all the way down. I mean, hearing that parrot as well, that green parrot, it's absolutely lovely just to see them. And I have spotted one up the Lisos, but it's actually filming it. There is wildlife onto the pool as well. You've got your water birds, there is mallards onto there, Canada goose. Sometimes you can get the heron that does come down to this pool. There is more hens. There's a moor hen walking the path down there now. and there is a sign telling you what wildlife you can expect to get onto the park itself, onto the pools. I don't know if there's any fish on the pools. I've never heard of actually fish being onto here, but it is interesting. I will go and read the sign down there just to show you as well. So yeah, what a beautiful afternoon. It's absolutely warm today. I mean, for this time of year now, we are coming to spring, so we're going to expect the best weather to come, especially the summer. I cannot wait. Got lots of planned content just to show you. But this is it. It says visiting the birds to Haden Park, mallard, you got your mute swan, tufted duck as well, grey heron like I mentioned, coot. Coot is similar to a moorhen, but a coot's got a white beak as well there. Moorhen's got the red one. I think the one that I've seen is actually a moorhen, but it's actually gone into there now. You've even got your little grebe. You can get great crested grebes as well. I have seen them on the Lisos. Canada goose, your typical goose which you can get on your canals around the Black Country, the most popular goose within the area. But yeah, let's have a quick look. I'll have a pan around. But looking down into here, look at these. We've even got the bridge as well, little like stream running down. Look at that, running into the pool. I mean, this bridge as well, I can just imagine how old this bridge is, whether it is a redesign of the original bridge. But if it's the original bridge itself, I don't quite know, but I think it's a redesign. But looking down there, you can just see the big pool here. Look at the wildlife, what's onto it. You've got mallards, birds over there as well. I think it's just all the water birds today which I can see, seagulls. But it doesn't actually look too deep, the water. I mean, looking down, it's a bit shallow on the ends looking down there. I don't think there is fish into this, I don't quite know. But if there is, it is quite interesting just to know really. Because it's strange what attracts the heron to come over as well. And whether there's any little fish into here. But let's have a walk around the corner, we'll show you around the side as well. So yeah, looking down we can get a better view of the big pool for you just around this side. It is lovely just to see all the wildlife, what's onto here. And I know it's not exciting seeing your water birds, but like once more, it's just nice to see them. It just gives them the addition to the pool. Just imagine if there was no life on it, it wouldn't be, you know, it just makes the pool a bit more pleasing just to look at with all the wildlife onto it. Looking at the moorhens as well, see one there. Look at they've got mallards just close by as well, waiting to be fed. They think they've got bread, so that's why they've actually come close. There's some there. Look, all the birds coming as well. Look at all these. But the views over there though, wow. It does remind me of the pool what's up Mary Stevens Park. I mean, if you've never been to that one, that is quite an interesting one as well. I will be covering a video on Mary Stevens a bit later on in a history video. But it's looking round. We've got swans as well. There's a swan down there. But yeah, one more pan around and I'm going to head home. Oh wow, there's nuthatches. I can see it. We need the camera though, we really, for this.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back.
We'll have to come back to this place. There's so much interesting wildlife. Look at that. Absolutely brilliant views just to see that.
Looking for bugs on the trees.
Yeah. Let's get a closer look at it, probably. No, I can still see it, but it's a bit hard to get on my GoPro. It's just where I'm pointing there. I don't know whether you'll be able to spot it, but it's moving. Nuthatch. Lovely birds. You can spot these up with Lisos as well. Beautiful things. It amazes me that the way they hang from the tree upside down. It's pretty cool. But yeah, walking back home now through the corngroves, you can just imagine like what I've just seen. There's much in here. I have seen the woodpeckers down to here. It is a nice place to come just for a general stroll if you live local near to the Alzone section. Especially walking down by the coal mines coming that way, and then down the River Stour section down there, then back up to the Starbridge Road that way down Belle Vale. Lovely little walk. I tend to do it daily sometimes if I haven't got much to do. But yeah, stay tuned, hit the like button if you've enjoyed this video. I do much appreciate it, and if you've enjoyed it as well and you want to feel free to comment, then feel free to do so. Put some things into there. If you want to chat to me or put some history onto there, then drop a comment, and I'll feel free to talk back, because I am interested in your comments as well, your views of like different areas, bits and pieces of history. If I've missed any, it is quite interesting to learn about it, and it gives other viewers as well chances to catch up on some of the information that I may have missed. But yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot more to cover. I've still got canal lines to do, bits and pieces around the Black Country. I am researching some interesting places to go, like around the back to Starbridge as well. There is more canal routes down that way, Staffordshire, Worcestershire Canal. There's one that I'm going to do that goes all the way up to Wolverhampton, which is pretty interesting. There is quite a lot of interesting things down there as well. But yeah, see you soon, and stay tuned. And don't forget as well, if you want to check me out, go and check out my Instagram, the Midlands Outdoors. You can find my groups on Facebook as well. If you search page for Midlands Outdoors, you will see all the latest content, pictures, information. Like if I'm going to decide to upload a video soon, I will post some stuff onto there so you can see it. But yeah, see you soon and take care.